Modern technology is amazing. Now, I usually, as someone who jokes about, you can take my remote control from my cold, dead hands because I like my cable. When I go to a fancy pants hotel, I like a key. I like a key. I like a good, normal key. Also, going to Vegas, if you've got time, I like checking in at the front desk. I know there's 1,000 ways to check in. I like checking in at the front desk. Why? Because one time I actually got an upgrade, and I feel like, can't get an upgrade on the mobile check-in. Go to the desk. Maybe give a special trip. And every once in a while, somebody's having a good day. Might get an upgrade. Well, we got no time for that. We got no time for this nonsense. Brenden, when I tell you no one has gotten off of a plane into a hotel to a football stadium faster than I did on Friday. I don't know what the world record is, but I'm fairly certain every corner that could be cut, we cut. Hey, we're carrying on. And anybody that flies Alaska knows they really encourage you to check your bag. Hey, we're a full flight. We're going to run out of bin space. And normally, every time, even if we bring our bags through security, you get it tagged at the thing. Not this time, no. Sorry, everybody. This is an emergency. So we're the people that carried on, throw the bags in, land, get the bags right to the cab. In the cab, mobile check-in on the phone. Phone works as your room key. Kind of cool. I'm sure people are like, Justin, it's been happening for a while. I know, but I like to go to the desk, and I like to check in with the person. It makes me feel better. Well, don't have time for that. So, go Mandalay Bay, staying there because concerts at Allegiant. Straight from cab to the room. Phone works. Boom. Get changed up. Out. Left. Up and over the freeway. Nobody has gotten to a concert faster. Now, here's the thing that I don't understand. Ultimately turned out to be a successful night. A little scared in the middle. Here's the thing I don't understand about people. We were sitting at the airport in Portland. Clearly, everyone on this flight is dealing with this delay. It turned out to only be about an hour. Wasn't too bad. But it projected to be about an hour 45. And then they brought it came back, thankfully, back down to earth. But we're all at the airport at PDX dealing with this delay. And, people, we've been sitting at this airport for a while. People are talking. And this is where I do not understand people. It's like, oh, yeah, flight's delayed. And Kelly's like, yeah, we have a concert we're going to. So really need to get really happy that it wasn't too bad of a delay. And stranger out of nowhere. Oh, really? Concert tonight? Yeah, I would never go. I would never fly the day of a show if I'm going to Vegas. You got to give that. And I'm like, yeah, well, I never asked you. I'm just sitting here. Clearly, we're all a little bit stressed. But, yeah, thanks for the advice for next time. So next time I go for a show, kind stranger, I'll be sure to heed your advice that I did not ask for. What's wrong with people? Brenden, what's wrong with people? Can't just say, oh, that stinks.
You're surprised people are cynics?
I'm surprised there's not a normal decorum of people just to go, that stinks. Good luck. That's all. Oh, I'd never do that. Didn't ask you. What a terrible thing to do. You are a terrible person. And I think he noticed because I had stared daggers right through his face. And I'm like, not the time, buddy. Yeah, if you're going to a show, yeah, I would never fly the day up. Well, didn't really have a choice. Kind of had a whole plan in place. All right. There shall be no more. Well, there'll be a couple more vacation stories. But we shall, on the big show, dive into I did get to watch at Las Vegas, and Devon Pouncey is going to be joining us in the third hour. So I got a very unique watching experience as Team USA men's basketball wins the gold medal because, look, cool thing about the Olympics is also a thing I really like. it's kind of weird rooting for like LeBron James. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird rooting for Steph Curry. I like Steph Curry. It's kind of weird, like all of these players who are on teams that are not the Blazers, but to be there, and I was at the sports book at Caesars. Team USA did not cover. Still fun to see the gold medal, but it was an interesting experience where it was like everyone in the building was rooting for the one team. You go to any other sports book in Vegas, right? Everybody's rooting for their bets. Everybody's rooting for different teams. It's, no. Everybody all in on Team USA. So we'll talk some Team USA hoops with Devon Pouncey coming up in hour number 3. We have got top 25, another one, as Oregon gets a first place vote. And I am going to be fascinated at how related now that we are in a 12-team playoff, how related the top 25 is going to be from the AP poll and the coaches poll for a bit, but for the AP poll and coming up in about a month and a half when we start seeing playoff rankings and how close are they going to get it? I have a hunch we may see maybe the biggest separation in terms of playoff rankings and the AP poll. So we're going to dive into that coming up as well. Moda Center has been sold. That happened when I was gone. Aaron Rodgers has a bio out with some interesting stories. And we have got a ton of football to dive into as well. But there is an AP top 25 out. Oregon is in the top 4. Where are they sitting? Three in the AP poll, getting a first place vote. Everybody seems to be all on board for this Oregon Ducks team. So we're going to dive into that. Overrated, underrated, where the misses were in the top 25 coming up next. 620 Rip City Radio. I've wondered this a handful of times on the show because the AP poll was released yesterday, and Oregon is sitting third in the AP poll, the preseason poll. They have a first place vote. It is one of my favorite things as a media person because I know how these polls work. And I know the system. I know how the polls work. I know voters of the polls. And if you knew how the polls work, as a fan, you would never get upset about it. But fan is short for fanatic. Fanatics are passionate. And when polls come out, we get emotional. So I have the media side of this. I know how the system works. And also with the 12-team playoff now, rankings don't matter anymore. I mean, they matter a smidge. More on that in a moment. But not like it used to be. As I've said multiple times, college football is not perfect. I've always liked the older system, but it did have warts. And one of its warts were too much emphasis was placed on where you were ranked at the beginning of the season, which is objectively silly. Especially in the later years when these college football coaches got more and more and more secretive. We told you that story a couple of weeks ago about how Nick Saban essentially had it written into a lease agreement of an apartment complex that you can't go out on your balcony that you are renting between 2 and 6 o'clock because your balcony overlooks Alabama's practice field and you're not allowed to be out there. But it didn't used to be that way. Practices, for the most part, used to be open. And also, back in the day, before social media, reporters used to have, I think, a better feel for which teams were good. This was also pre-transfer portal and the like. But it was always objectively silly to think that the outcome of the season could be determined by where people think you are in August. Again, alien comes down, explain college football to me. It's going to be a while. And I think for years as fans, we got so accustomed to being upset about the polls. Obviously, the top tier teams, they're never worried about it. But there were seasons in the 2000s where because of where you were ranked preseason, it cost you a major bowl game. In 2004, Auburn, I believe, came into the season ranked 15th, went undefeated, but unfortunately, USC and Oklahoma were both ranked 2 and 3. They also went undefeated. And I'm sorry, Auburn, you don't get to play for a national title. It's better the way we do it now because of that. The wart is now gone. But now that we do have a playoff, how much life does the AP poll have? It's a 100-plus year institution, the AP poll. I wonder how much life the actual AP poll has in college football because I do know its value. I know its value. And it is when you look at the college football schedule right now, just go ahead and look at it. Unless you're driving, then just listen to me and I'm going to tell you about it. But you look at the college football schedule, and unless you are talking about your team, what's the first thing you look for? Games I want to watch. First thing you look for. Well, are there any ranked teams? Are there any ranked teams playing? Because you can clearly see week 1, you got USC, LSU. Boy, that's 13 and 23 right there. That's a pretty good matchup. And you could head into you can scroll over to week 2. Number 4 and number 9, Texas at Michigan. It's a marketing tool. These networks love it because they get to promote matchup of top 10. We don't know if Michigan's the number 9 team in the country. We certainly don't know if Texas is the number 4 team in the country. But when you want to sell a game to a bunch of fans, it really helps to be like, hey, number 4 versus number 9. That sounds like a big-time matchup. So I understand the AP poll's value. in terms of a marketing tool. But that's all it is anymore, now that we have a playoff. But I've always found it very funny. As a fan, I have done this myself. I'm not making fun of anybody that I would not make fun of myself. Where Oregon comes in at number 3, they get a first-place vote, and guess what? All these AP voters are geniuses. These guys are so smart. These guys know so much football. It's unbelievable. They got it right. Oregon, Ohio State, they're going to be matching up in October. So even if they're ranked below them, it doesn't matter. They'll play each other. These guys are so smart. If Oregon would have came in ranked like 12, these guys are idiots. They don't know ball. They don't know what they're talking about. This poll doesn't matter. But now that we do have a playoff, the legs and the importance and the heft of the AP poll doesn't really have what it used to, because it used to be that way. If you were out of the top 15, good luck getting into a major bowl game. Unless you win your conference, and even if you were to go undefeated, let me see. Let's do a little research on the fly. And unfortunately, they don't let me do that. But you go back to 2004, like I said, Auburn. Auburn comes into the season. They're like 15th. They're middle of the pack somewhere. Undefeated Auburn in the SEC. Yeah, they don't play for a national title that year. Well, that's now gone. We've got a playoff. Now, here is where the rankings do kind of matter. Because I'm not saying that other than marketing, that these don't hold any weight in where you are ranked. Because I find it very interesting. Brenden, you know how these polls work. I'm sure you know a handful of voters in the AP poll. And I'm sure also you know how the coaches poll works. Do you find it at all interesting that numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in both the AP and the coaches poll? And I'm sure there was not a lot of communication and correspondence between AP writers and actual head football coaches about what they think of other teams. How is it that 1 through 7 are identical? How's
Almost like there's a class of haves and have-nots in college football now.
How does it happen? How does 1 through 7 get to be identical? Well, here's why. Here's how it works. Because nobody really wants to be wrong, and nobody really wants to be called out. And if you just, as Brenden said, you go with the status quo, you're going to be just fine. The problem is when you go with the status quo, it kind of sets up certain things heading into the future. Yeah, most of the things will be handled on the field. Most of the matchups will be handled on the field. But every once in a while, there's going to be, well, like Florida State last year. Now, they had a quarterback injury, but going undefeated, but where did you start the season? Where were you ranked at the beginning of the season? How do we get to where the AP, which has, what do they have? 60 votes, I think? 63 votes. And then all of the coaches, and they all got one. They all went Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, Notre Dame. 1 through 7 got it exactly identically matched up right. And even then, Michigan and Penn State are flipped, and then 10 and 11 are identical. So the same 11 teams, same 12 teams, because 13 and 12, whether you believe Utah or LSU, and then Clemson, and then Tennessee, and then Oklahoma. You can go all the way down before you find an actual discrepancy, which is essentially the coaches have NC State at 22. The AP has NC State at 24. Other than that, other than a couple of flipped slots, the entire AP and coaches poll is the exact same. How does that happen? They were talking to one another, or maybe these polls were already set. I'm not saying like big giant conspiracy. What I'm saying is it's pretty easy if you pay attention to football and the transfer portal and everything else to kind of come up. But it's fascinating that in the 1 through 25, other than a handful of flip spots between Utah and LSU or Kansas State and Oklahoma, the entire top 25 is the exact same. This is where the value is, because you can't tell me that the playoff committee, who is supposed to be working independently, isn't going to use both of these polls, and more particularly the AP poll, as a bit of a guide, a bit of a cheat sheet. We don't have to watch all the games. We just have to watch just the top 25. That being said, I'm going to be a hypocrite right now. Brenden, who did they get right? Who did they get wrong? Biggest discrepancy in the top 25. I think I know where you're leaning. Is Notre Dame a top 10 team? Is Notre Dame sitting at number 7 in both polls?
I'm kind of curious why there's other Mountain West teams that are receiving votes and not one vote for Oregon State. That's my biggest upset.
That's
without question.
That is a great point. Let's talk about that. Because here's what I think, again.
Just the disrespect.
Understood. Here's the thing that I think is going to happen. Do you think these Mountain West schools are getting votes because of the way that the playoff structure is set up? Because objectively, you can't say that with Oregon State and Washington State, even with the transfers and the Cam Ward's out and Aiden Childs is out, you can't tell me that both of those rosters with the guys that came in are not clearly the two best rosters going into the Mountain West. I know they're not technically Mountain West schools, but clearly they are the two best rosters, both of whom competed in the Pac-12 last year, both of whom made bowl games last year. There's no way, shape, or form you can look at the Mountain West and just be like, all right, well, I know they're playing the schedule, but if they were in the conference, they would both win it.
Yeah, I mean, Boise State's the third team receiving votes. Boise State fired their coach last year.
They sure did.
So, riddle me that, please.
Well, okay, so here's what I think. Tell me if you think this theory holds water, because I think these voters know that to get into the playoff, one spot is going to be held out for that top-ranked group of 6 school. And Washington State and Oregon State are not eligible for that. It makes a very, very big uphill climb, but it's a decision they had to make so that they could keep all that Pac-12 money, because the last thing you want to do is then join the Mountain West and then you forfeit all your Pac-12 money. So I wonder if you seeing Boise State getting votes, if you are seeing Liberty getting votes, if you are seeing Memphis getting votes, if you are seeing UTSA, Tulane, App State all getting votes, whereas the two former Pac-12 schools that won significant amount of games last year, played in bowl games, competed in the conference, not receiving any votes in the top 25, it's got to be a structure of the playoff, right? Because the AP voters can look at it and go,
yeah,
App State, Boise, Tulane, Liberty, one of those teams is going to make the playoff. I don't know if it's going to be one of those, Memphis, but do you know what I mean? A team like them. The same reason that Liberty got their teeth kicked in by Oregon this year is because they got the one spot that was reserved. Now, let me ask you this. What makes you more upset? The fact that you had Mountain West schools getting more votes over Oregon State, or that Colorado got one vote? Somebody took the top 25 and was like, yeah, Colorado Buffaloes. Definitely need to pencil them in.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it and, Colorado's true, but, you can't tell me that, UTSA is going to be better than Oregon State. You can't tell me that, like I said, Boise. SMU is a question to me.
SMU is a big question.
Appalachian State, Tulane. I think I already said Tulane, sorry.
Yeah.
But, there's, I'm not saying they deserve, but Was I surprised to not see them receive at least one vote, Justin? A little bit. I get it. They were gutted, but even we talked about it yesterday. We went just best case, worst case scenario for Oregon State football this year. And even in a worst case, you're still seeing 7, 8 wins. And you would think that would be enough to get at least one vote, considering Colorado went 4-8 last year as one vote.
All right, let's do this. Best case, worst case. They're not losing to Idaho State. They're not losing to San Diego State. Oregon's that's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pencil that one in as an L.
I even think best case scenario, I think you play Oregon tough.
Yeah,
but I don't.
Purdue.
This is where I
don't know.
Best case is a win. Worst case is a loss. Right.
Just
That's how
don't
you
know.
do best case, worst case. Right.
Colorado State will be terrible. Nevada.
Are they going to be that bad? How?
I just dove into those two teams will be two of the worst teams in Oregon State's schedule. Colorado State might be a little bit better, but Nevada will be horrible.
Because Purdue's, a lot of people believe Purdue's the worst team of the Big Ten.
Okay,
they
fair
might
enough.
be and some people might think it's Indiana, but Indiana got a new coach, and actually, I think Indiana might have a little. They might have some surprise ability.
Okay.
But Purdue sounds like they might be the worst team in the Big Ten. So
pick them.
That's a pick 'em. Colorado. So this, all right. In worst case, we're already at 3 wins. I don't see another where you. So there you go. I would go worst case scenario. 4-8. Worst case. That catastrophic badness would have to happen. I don't think that's what's going to happen. But if you're going absolute worst case, I think 4-8. But best case is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At Cal's going to be tough. 7, 8. I think best case is 10-2.
Yeah, there's a lot of range. There's a lot of range with the schedule that's there, and
You get the Cougs at home.
Boise State day after Thanksgiving on the blue. That'll be tough.
It's gonna be a tough win. That's gonna be a tough game.
9 a.m. I think it's the earliest college football game I've ever seen, Justin.
That definitely is the earliest one.
9 a.m. the day after Thanksgiving on Black
That's gonna be tough.
Like that, I've never seen a game like that. Who scheduled that, Justin? Come on now.
There'll be a lot of people after they were fighting each other in Walmart for the really nice TV. And
head over to the blue now.
But yeah, I think the Oregon game, and I think either Cal, Wazoo, Boise State, to get all 3 of those wins is going to be tough. So that's why I go absolute best case, maybe 10-2. But again,
how good will San Jose State be without Brenden this year? Right, he was.
I'm saying.
Good point about Cal. Cal could be sneaky, but maybe this is the year the wheels fall off the Wilcox experiment.
It might be.
Right. You never know.
Also, it's one of those games where you don't ever.
No,
count.
Going down to the Berkeley, man, it's
a sleepy library.
It's sleepy. No
Wilcox is going to have a really good game plan.
It'll be an 11 a.m. game.
But it is not. And again, I was obviously focused more on Oregon sitting there at number 3 and getting a first place vote. But the idea that you could see a team in Oregon State who I think realistically probably 8 wins, 7, 8 wins.
That's what they're projected to go.
No votes in the AP Top 25. That's got to get a conference, man. Is that out of sight, out of mind? Is that truly being the forgotten teams? It might be. It might be what's going on because the Cougs didn't get a vote either.
I don't think they ended the year ranked because they were 8-4 and then we're 8-5. So that maybe that's a part of it.
8 wins the year. I guess you lose Cam Ward, but it's got to be an out of sight, out of mind thing. Being the forgotten teams.
Yeah, that's true.
But to not get 1 vote, and you see Tulane.
Dion got one though.
Yeah. Can we talk about Dion?
Yes.
Can we do it? Can we talk about Dion? I missed it yesterday.
I know you did miss a good show.
You got the clip. We're gonna replay the clip again because I don't know what your thoughts are, but is the pressure getting Dion, or is this just Prime being Prime? That's next here on 620 Rip City Radio. All right, let's wrap up hour number 1. And we do that with our countdown to kickoff. That is right. We are so close. We're so close. You can smell the grills from the gravel parking lots. 18 days. 18 days until both Oregon and Oregon State kick off their season at Reser and at Autzen Stadium. Also coming up this weekend, Florida State will be taking on Georgia Tech in Dublin. We shall have college football on our screens coming up. But we're 18 days away. I was wrong, by the way. Not this weekend. A week and a half away.
Still got some fall camp left, Justin.
Still got some fall camp left. But I believe this Saturday, 4 days from today, is our last day without college football.
That is correct.
Until we get to the new year. So that makes me very, very excited.
Can we do like a week 0-0 and just like double it up and play even earlier?
You know they're going to. This is the thing I know about college football. This is the thing, is that if it makes money, it makes sense. If it makes dollars, it makes sense. Hey, 14 playoff made a lot of money. Let's do 12. 12 is going to go to 16. 16 is going to go to 20. It's just going to. And it's like, now, guess what else makes money? Coaches used to hate the week 1 matchup, kickoff classic type game. The coaches hate them. And also schools used to hate them. Why? You give up a home game? Give up a home game against Portland State. No offense, Vikings.
I'd give up a road game.
Well, yeah. But usually it's some sort of an agreement, right?
Sure.
Guess what happened? Oh, Chick-fil-A's on board? Chick-fil-A's going to cut us a check? All right. We'll give up a home game. We'll go play Georgia and Atlanta. That's a good idea.
I just think who's to say, like, it's that Ian Malcolm theory, right? Like, you never, so concerned about whether or not you could, like, you should. And it's like, who's to say we don't go, yeah, we'll do it's like the Hall of Fame game. A week before college football really starts, and we're going to go play in Dublin or go play in Vegas.
It's going to happen. You watch.
Doesn't seem that crazy.
It's not that crazy. It's going to happen. And there'll be a team that'll be like, oh, and also we'll get an extra buy out of it. But anyways.
Exactly.
18 days away from Oregon and Oregon State kicking off their season. We kick off on campus. Let's go. All right, I have never seen something pick up steam. Now, maybe it's because I am entrenched in college football every single day. It is what my algorithm is spitting out at me every single day. So I saw this clip from Deion Sanders a couple of days ago, and I was like, and maybe I had vacation on the brain. I don't know. Maybe I didn't do a very good job, and I was derelict in my duties. But, boy, over the weekend, this Deion Sanders clip really picked up steam. I know you talked about it yesterday, Brenden, but let's hear Coach Prime. And I think this was like Thursday. But then there's a little bit of a mystery, and people are trying to figure out the mystery. But here's an exchange with Deion Sanders, head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, and a local Denver reporter just trying to ask a question. All right,
A lot of shrapnel.
Couple thoughts.
Why are you calling out people's home marriages, Deion? It's none of your business.
But I will say this, as someone who has been in a successful marriage, and I've been in an unsuccessful marriage. Yeah, it does matter, Coach Prime, because let me tell you, if you don't have chemistry at home, guess what? You're not winning big football games, if you know what I mean. Whatever the marriage equivalent is of winning big-time football games, you're not. That's the whole thing. That's the whole point. I've been around enough athletes, I've been around enough football to know that of all of the sports, football is one of the biggest where it's like if you don't like your teammates, if your team does not get along, it's 22 starters plus special teams plus everybody, all the backups. It's 50, 60 guys all trying to figure out how to work together to accomplish one goal. If you can't, you're not going to win. You might win based off of talent, but you're not going to win big. Oh, you guys, none of you like each other, and yeah, you work together. I can tell you right now, I've been in this game for 20 years. You work with people you don't like. You know what you don't achieve? Ultimate success. It doesn't happen. You might have a modicum of success. You might have, you might make some money here or there, but you go to a job that you genuinely dislike one another, you're not going to achieve success at a high level. And the fraction of success and ultimate success and elite level football is so razor thin. I don't know. Maybe Deion can pull it off. Maybe he can. There was the other quote, and I'll paraphrase because it was my fault on the Deion. The CBS guy, where he's like, I don't work with CBS anymore. And the guy's like, I'm just CBS Denver. I'm not. He's like, I don't care. You are who you are. I don't work with CBS anymore. And again, because rumors are, it started off as everybody thought, oh, CBS did a ranking of overrated coaches. They put Deion on. It's like, no. Rumors are now swirling that apparently there was some sort of deal with CBS and Deion Sanders. The deal fell through because Deion cares about celebrity and he cares about selling books and he cares about getting on TV and all of that. And that's fine if that's.
Can I throw
again,
something?
That's real, but so the conspiracy theory is that CBS canceled the Deion Sanders coaching TV show, and so that's why he doesn't talk to CBS anymore. All right. Yes, Brenden.
Are we sure Deion doesn't want a life in politics after football? He seems to be quite prepared for it.
More prepared than football?
Yeah, I'm just saying, just throwing that out there, Deion.
Well,
you sure you don't want to be governor of Colorado? Start there. Start small. We'll see what you can go from there.
But also, it's again, this is why the CEO coach part of it doesn't work. And I might talk about this on the other side because everybody thinks that that's the way to run a college football program is to have the CEO head coach. Well, if you actually look back in the history of college football, there is mountains of evidence as to why it doesn't work and why it is so much more important to have a coach who has an understand and a feel and a genuine connection with his players, with his team. So we'll dive into that. We may dive into some more top 25 stuff. Pounce is going to join us in hour number 3. We got to make or miss. I definitely got some grumpy old man stuff to get off my chest as well. So a jam-packed hour number 2 coming up next, 620 Rip City Radio.
7 a.m. here on a Tuesday morning. Georgia, Ohio State, and Oregon all top the AP poll that was released yesterday. The Oregon Ducks receive one first-place vote. Jets edge rusher Hassan Reddick has demanded a trade, but the Jets said they will not trade their edge rusher and plan to see the edge rusher report to camp in the next coming days. And in Olympic news, the Court of Arbitration will not reconsider Jordan Childs' bronze medal dispute due to rules that do not allow the situation to be reviewed. That's a mouthful. Coming up, we'll have Devon Pouncey on the big show. Yeah, I legit forgot about it there. 100%.
Hey, welcome back to Rip City Mornings, everybody. Hopefully you are having a fantastic Tuesday morning. You know, you need they say variety is the spice of life. And by I say they, I don't know. I think it was on a stitched on a pillow somewhere. I'm sure somebody has a word sign like that they got at the Home Goods above like their spice cabinet that says variety is the spice of life, like right next to their live, laugh, love, and
I think if you grew up somewhat middle class and you went over to other people's houses and they didn't have live, laugh, love, laughter here,
yes,
nothing but love in this house on the wall,
gather, family,
all that stuff.
I mean, how about the family above all the family pictures?
Oh yeah,
and it's just is that your family? I think my mom might have that, to be honest.
We used
not
to.
criticizing, simply observing. It's just a hyper aware, but yes, there was the live, laugh, love sign people. Boy, they thought they were on a gravy train with biscuit wheels, didn't they? They're like, man, every one of these middle class moms is putting in farmhouse kitchens and putting live, laugh, love everywhere.
Entirely true.
It's like we can't make enough of these things. But yeah, variety is the spice of life, and obviously we are very much a football show. I would imagine. Love the NBA. We're going to talk some NBA later on with Pounce. Going to talk some basketball with our good friend in the third hour because Team USA did win the gold medal. Boy, Steph Curry really showed up at the right time. But obviously we're a football show, but you need everything. And I think it is good in sports that, MLB is different than the NBA. It is different than the NFL, right? Because everything it's different than the NHL. It's different than golf. Just a little different ammo, like modus operandi, which is the fancy way of saying means of operating.
Latin?
I don't know. Maybe.
Sounds like Latin.
Some things I pick up and I just remember, and and I'm sure I say them wrong. I think modus operandi is Latin, or it's maybe not even a thing, and I could have been making it up for the last 20 years. Like pedestal is a fancy stool. Thought that way too long. Or is the other worst thing I did? Not the worst thing, but one of the worst language things I used to always do. I misused digress instead of regress. I said, they've digressed back. And then somebody's like, I think you mean regress there, big boy. Your digress you're not using that incorrect. So I did that for a long, long time too. I said digress instead of regress. But when you get in the NBA, biggest, and every Blazer fan knows this fear because we lived this fear 2 years ago, or a year ago, as crazy as it sounds. Every NBA fan, I think, has a fear of like the trade request. Oh, trade request? Oh no, somebody's unhappy, and we saw it here. Dame formally requested a trade. He was traded away by September. Knew it was inevitable. Brooklyn Nets had to deal with it, right? Kyrie, Kevin Durant. Brooklyn Nets, if they have like actual like normal fans, but the Johnny-come-lately Brooklyn Nets fans like, well, we got the two all-world trade request. Here it comes. NFL, Hassan Reddick. I want to be traded, Jets. That's cute. That's cute.
I think the guy forgot what league he's in.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
This is the variety that is the spice of the sports world, which is if you are in the NBA, you have the leverage to request a trade, and most of those trade requests are acquiesced because it is a player-friendly league, which you need one of those.
Also, like,
Hassan Reddick, I formally requested trade. It's like, well, there is no formal request. That's not a real thing. And that's cute. Get back here and play. You need to
also,
get back here and play.
First off, I thought, like, I mean, I guess to get paid, right? But it's like, I talked about this a little bit with Brenden Ayuk. Like, why would you want to leave a Super Bowl contending team? Like, Ayuk, right? So, and, we caught up with Dan Pizzuta yesterday. He's like, Brenden Ayuk probably likely to go back to San Francisco, barring something crazy. And then, I think looking at this too, it's like, sure, maybe Hassan Reddick wants more money, but like, outside of like 4 or 5 spots, you're not going to find a better spot. You have a guy, Aaron Rodgers.
So the Brenden Ayuk thing, I'm with you, right? Let's try to maybe eliminate the money, which is always very, very tough to do because I think obviously where you are paid is where you believe your worth is, even though there's more factors than that. It's not exactly apples to apples, but a lot of players will like this. This is how much you pay me. This is how much you feel I am worth. And Brenden Ayuk is probably looking at DJ Moore and going like, that guy just got $100 million. I'm going to need my extension. And they're going to be like, yeah, we got to pay a lot of people before we pay you. We're trying to win Super Bowls here. And on top of that, I watched that Receiver at Netflix show. Have you watched The Receiver yet on Netflix?
It's like 1 or 2 episodes.
It's pretty good. And you watch it because the focus of the show is the subjects of the show. You wouldn't know if Brenden Ayuk played for the 49ers. You watched that. You watched that Receiver show. You thought it's all George Kittle, all Deebo Samuel, because that's the subject of the show. They agreed to do it. The cameras in their house. So like the Brenden Ayuk thing, I do kind of understand where it's like, yeah, you're on a Super Bowl contending team, but you're not number one. And you believe you're number one. And maybe you ultimately want to go to a place where you are Jamar Chase, Deebo Samuel, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill. By the way, you see Tyreek Hill called out, what's his name? Noah Lyles. Did you see Tyreek Hill? Yeah, I beat him in a race. Interesting on that
I'd
one.
like to see it.
I would too.
And again, Tyreek Hill, for my money, is the fastest human being on the planet. Can run a 4.2 with pads on. So that's...
You think no pads, but on a track, 100 yards. So not quite 100 meters. Because I think Noah Lyles will beat him in the 100 meters. It's his specialty. Goal line to goal line.
Give me Tyreek Hill.
No pads. Now, if you went goal line to goal line on grass with spikes or with cleats, yeah, Tyreek Hill. Like you said, nobody's faster on grass, I think, than Tyreek Hill. On a track, though, you think Lyles would get him on a track? That'd be fun to watch. I wouldn't pay to watch it, but I would definitely tune in and watch some commercials and help him pay for it.
So, Noah Lyles, he ran the 40-yard dash in so again, like you said, the difference of track versus field and all that.
Yes.
He ran the 40-yard dash in one of his 40-yard dashes at 4.7. Mm-hmm. Tyreek Hill's fastest is 4.29.
Yeah.
So, again, but Noah Lyles is younger than Tyreek Hill.
Younger, and there's no 40-yard dash in the Olympics. He trains for the 100 meters.
Now, that being said, I still think, we go back to what Justin talked about. The gold standard was still Usain Bolt, 4.22, 40-yard dash. Could you imagine I want to put Usain Bolt in pads, man. I want to see if he can be the next Tyreek Hill. 4.22, Justin, that is insanity.
They've tried that before. I think Bullet Bob Hayes, I believe, was the player. Might have been the 80s, might have been maybe a little bit earlier.
Put a track star on a football.
Track star, and they're like, put some pads on and have him run go routes.
Didn't work, I'm assuming.
It worked enough to where I remembered him,
okay,
I guess,
fair enough.
but it was, he didn't become Jerry Rice. You know what I mean? Footwork and technique and, you got to catch the ball too. But yeah, Thought that was interesting. Tyreek Hill. Did he make fun of him for getting COVID too? I think I saw that somewhere popped up in my algorithm. The Tyreek Hill just calling out Noah Lyles because they're still mad about the world champion thing. I think football and basketball players are still mad about the world champion thing.
And a quick look up, just this Bob Hayes guy might have some words to say. I mean, apparently he ran a 70-yard dash in 6.5 seconds.
Bob Hayes, baby. I remembered who he was.
Only athlete to win an Olympic gold medal and a Super Bowl ring.
There you go.
How about that, man? Didn't think we'd be talking Bob Hayes this morning.
Did not think that was going to be happening. What were we talking about before? Oh, yeah, Hassan Reddick. So if you're Brenden Ayuk, I was like, you want to be number one. I get it. Now, that would be a fun debate of what would you rather do? If you were Brenden Ayuk, what would you rather do? Would you rather be the fourth best option on a Super Bowl winning or contending team, or would you rather be the number one option and paid like a number one option? You want to go to the Commanders. Commanders aren't making the playoffs for a while. Unless Jaden Daniels becomes the next C.J. Stroud, I don't think that's going to happen. You're the number one receiver on the Commanders, and now you get paid for it. I get that. Or would you rather be where you're at, which is maybe going to the Super Bowl again?
I think,
I guess I do see the appeal of, like, I want to be number one.
I mean, this is something we threw out yesterday too, Justin, across sports, because, again, still something that's fascinating. Why do more players not say, I'm going to be the Jalen Brunson of the NFL. I'm just going to go to a place where I know I can win and bleep the money because I'll get it back in endorsements and everything else.
I think
in a place like San Francisco, you could do that, Ayuk. You could.
Okay.
Maybe not $100 million, but you could.
I think Jalen Brunson being the star of the New York Knicks, absolutely. That's quarterback stuff, right? Quarterbacks could do it. Tom Brady did it. Patrick Mahomes is currently doing it. I don't who's the most famous non-quarterback? Because they're not getting an
Travis
awful.
Kelce.
Yeah, Travis Kelce. We're super famous. You're right. He's dating Taylor Swift. But Travis Kelce is a rarity because Travis Kelce could take less money and he'll make it up because, he's uber famous and that's why he does all those commercials. But I don't know if you really could make it up. A quarterback could.
I think.
I don't know if a receiver could.
I think Justin Jefferson could. It depends on how marketable you are, right? So it's all the same MO of it. And I think, in the NFL where, it's like when you already see things like with what's going on with Hassan Reddick, you should, just be able to be like, all right, well, we might win, so maybe I should just take less.
But why does he want to trade that?
That's so weird. It is
because it's like the Ayuk thing, you want to be number one option.
Yeah, it makes
Hassan
sense.
Reddick, you're like, all you got to do is get on the edge for the New York Jets and get home.
Yeah,
get
they're
some
not
quarterback.
benching you.
Get some quarterback sacks, and you're going to get paid. Like
Crazy.
What's going on there? But again, that's why I love the NFL. That's why I love everything, but I do love the NFL. I request a trade. Cute. No. Actually, matter of fact, we're going to need you back. Well, I'm holding out. Well, we'll fine you the entire time, and you shall be missing checks left and right. I still want to be traded. I don't care. Come back and play. All right. Coming up next, we got to make or miss. 620 Rip City Radio. All right, coming up in hour number 3, our good friend Devon Pouncey is going to be joining the show. He's going to, I'm sure, take a well-earned victory lap. Not only did he call Team USA winning the gold, which is not the victory lap, but last time we talked about Steph Curry and whether or not Steph Curry and at that point in time was having some struggles on Team USA, and let's just say I got a couple of texts from Pounce as Steph Curry was lighting up the fourth quarter against Serbia, and then again when Steph Curry was going off in the gold medal game. Fun to watch. Gold medal game in Caesar's Palace, fun to watch. And when he put that double teamed up heat check, what a moment. That guy's special. He's absolutely special. So Pounce is going to join us in the third hour. We have got Get Off My Lawn coming up in about 24 minutes or so. Right now, let's dive in to Make or Miss.
All right, firing up Make or Miss here on a Tuesday.
Yeesh.
Deion Sanders' act is getting so old. Doesn't win, Colorado's going to start to think it's getting old too. So another 4-8 season. In today's world, Justin, 2 years is the new 4 years for a rebuild, especially with the portal.
With the portal, 2 years is the next. And so here's the thing. All right, let's try it, because obviously I've made my feelings known about Deion Sanders. There's real and there's perceived, right? The reality was, in all seriousness, he improved Colorado in year one. He did. Anybody on a 1-11 team, and Brenden, you know this because you've been a fan of a 1-11 team. Anybody who had a 1-11 team would be like, hey, our coach is
My team should have went 0-12.
Should have went 0-12. That Portland State kicker.
Yeah, Portland State and Barney, man, they deserved it.
But you're a 1-11 team, and if somebody would have told you at the end of 2017, it's like, hey, I can get you 4-8 next year, you'd be like, yep, sign me up, I'll take it. So to that point, Deion Sanders improved a 1-11 garbage team that was the absolute, not even a competitive 1-11. Like, they were terrible. They were getting their tails. And he made them irrelevant and up their win total by 4. So that's the reality of it. Here's the other part, the perception of it, and I think where there is some jealousy. Can't deny that in the college football world. There is just jealousy because Deion Sanders came in as a celebrity and got the pub and attention that certain teams would kill for, and a lot of people felt didn't deserve. Then they won 3 games to start the season, and it got a little bit out of control. You know, when Stephen A. Smith is sitting there going like, do they have a path to the college football playoff? And I'm just like, okay. So there is that. And then the other part of it was Deion set this up with his first thing when he came in and said, you all need to transfer. You're all garbage. I'm bringing in Louis Vuitton luggage. If he just said,
several players that are now on Oregon State's roster heeded that quite loud.
So if he would have came in and said, you know what? We got a lot of work to do, and I'm excited to get to work. No. He said, you guys all stink, which they did, but you guys all stink. I'm bringing in a bunch of new guys. And then proceeded to act like he was Nick Saban for the month of September when it was it was magic beans is what he was selling. He was selling magic beans. And then they got hammered by Oregon. And the one game that they did win, probably should have lost to Arizona State. Could have very easily went 3-9, went 4-8. They did improve, but the way it was all went about, I think tired some folks. And this is what we do. We all got tired of Tim Tebow because ESPN wouldn't shut up about Tim Tebow. We all get tired about LeBron because ESPN wouldn't shut up about LeBron. And we all got kind of tired of Deion because ESPN wouldn't shut up about Deion Sanders.
Wait, you weren't impressed, Justin, when Urban Meyer brought a 32-year-old Tim Tebow out of retirement because this guy has to play tight end for us?
Mm-hmm.
You think that endeared himself in the Jacksonville Jaguars locker room?
Well,
Hey, guys, my guy. Oh, wait, Swamp Kings? That's coming out soon. My guy from Florida. Yeah, Tim. Come on over, Tim.
But before it was that, it was like that run that Tebow had with the Denver Broncos, where your eyes were going, wait a minute, this guy can't throw. But they kept winning. And ESPN wouldn't stop talking about it. But my eyes were like, wait, he can't throw. They beat my beloved Steelers in a playoff game. And Tim Tebow didn't do anything. He just played football. And then people got tired of the Tebow thing, and they turned on him. We're starting to see people, I think, turn the corner on Deion Sanders. And the other thing is, don't know what happened with him and CBS. Don't know, don't care. When you start doing stupid stuff like that, it makes you look soft. Fair?
It does.
It makes you look soft. How many times has Jonathan Smith or Dan Lanning or Mario Cristobal before that stepped up and took a question from a guy he didn't like? Or a person. I shouldn't even say a guy. A person they don't like. Maybe treated them unfair.
I don't think you can treat Jonathan Smith or Mario Cristobal unfairly. So
when they were there,
that
though,
being said,
that being said, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm sure there was a time where they're like, I don't like that guy, or I don't like what that company or whatever. You answer the question, you move on. But instead, he's like, nope, I ain't CBS. Ain't nothing. It's like, dude, I'm just a reporter from Denver.
Yeah, I'd love to see.
If I wouldn't have said what TV station I work for, you wouldn't have even known.
Yeah, I'd love to see the wheels fall off Colorado this year. I mean, you look.
Okay, so what is wheels falling off?
Losing to North Dakota State to start the year.
That'd be bad.
North Dakota State's number 2 team in the FCS. That's, I mean.
And it's a Thursday. It's a Thursday game. A lot of eyeballs going to be on that game.
I know a little something about, and actually, Justin, you do too. When Oregon State and Washington, or Oregon State and Oregon, for those years are like, well, Boise State's like the top-ranked team. Let's play them every other year.
Mm-hmm.
And in Eastern Washington, oh, well, let's just play them every other year. Eastern Washington's kind of the worst. But there was a stretch when, like, Eastern Washington was really, really good in the mid-2010s. Mm-hmm. And Oregon State and Oregon are like, yeah, let's play them. And, Oregon State lost. Oregon needed to score 50-some points to beat Cooper Kupp's effort that game.
I remember that.
So, it just, like, sometimes, and this is the greatest, scheduling thing that I've ever, seen is, like, sometimes it's better, Justin, to play the low-level Mountain West Sunbelt team than go play one of, like, the elite teams in FCS, mm-hmm. as crazy as that sounds. Like, sometimes those upper-level FCS teams are better than your UTSAs or your, ULM Monroe, other small Division I schools.
All right, so Colorado over-under right now, 5.5. Their over-under is 5.5.
Could they lose to Nebraska?
They are going to lose to Nebraska.
Ooh, you think Nebraska's going to be better this year?
I really do.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Again, I think you look at Nebraska, and I think you look at Colorado, and I think you look at both of those programs and the way that they went about. Matt Rule's like, yep, I'm coming in and I'm getting to work. Remember what Matt Rule did at Baylor?
I do.
Baylor
and
was
Temple.
a hot mess of a program. And Matt Rule went in there. And unceremoniously, because didn't he come from Temple?
Temple, he dominated Temple. Took Temple to a BCS game.
And he took that job at Baylor, and there were a lot of people going like, why are you taking that job? At that point, including what Jonathan Smith took over at Oregon State, because they didn't have a lot of the luggage with it, Baylor might have been the worst job in all of college football, in Power 5 college football at the time. And Matt Rule got them to the Big 12 championship. I mean, he's got it figured, and he's going to get things figured out at Nebraska. And you know how I know that? Because he's got the number 1 quarterback from last year, from high school, that Dylan Raiola guy. Like, he went and got the number 1 quarterback. So I think they're going to lose to Nebraska.
You look at it from there.
I don't know about the North Dakota State. Vegas is pretty good. Vegas has Buffs 8.5-point favorites. But
It's
again,
at home, but
it's in Colorado. But like you said, this is North Dakota State Super Bowl. They're coming off of a double overtime, loss to Montana?
yes, for the
They lost to
semi-
Montana in the
semis.
championship game last year?
Semis, yeah, semis.
Oh, semis.
Close enough.
But
They're
it's double
good every
overtime.
year.
And then you got Nebraska. And I think Nebraska, a little bit salty about what happened last year. Thought they should have had him.
Well, and my thing is taking a step further. Remember the drama with Colorado State? I don't expect Colorado State to be very good. Last
Yeah,
hour
they're
I
not
said
very good.
Oregon State's going to beat them. That being said, you remember that game last year? There was a whole lot of drama with that. Remember the whole like
I know. It's like my mom taught me to take my sunglasses off
Right.
inside. It's like now you're talking about my mom. You brought my family into it. And blah,
But
blah.
it's in
And then they went to, and then the one kid took out Travis Hunter, and then Travis Hunter, to his credit, whom I actually really like, and is a tremendous player, and probably should be in Heisman consideration, because I think you put Travis Hunter up on the transfer portal, that guy could pick his next spot wherever he wants to go. I don't know if Shedeur is the same way, but neither here nor there.
But no, I mean, going through like Baylor, UCF, Kansas State, Arizona, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see more than 4 wins for Colorado.
If they get 4 wins, then that's, I
the-
would say that is your kind of the wheels are falling
Is
off.
it the end of the Dion if that happens?
No.
Okay.
They can't afford to. This is a money play, too.
But they have money other than the Big 12. They got the cash grab, man. It's like
they
Michael
did,
Scott,
they
man.
did get their little signing bonus, too, didn't they?
Yeah, it's like Michael Scott. Cash basket. I mean, yeah, what's better than cash? A gift basket full of cash. So, I mean, it helps that they're not probably borrowing on borrowed money, and Brett Yormark can kind of help them out with some stuff now. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, do you think they'll get to 6 wins? I'd be
It's right there. It's border. It's right on the border.
What's their
Which is
over-under?
where they should be.
over under 5.5.
5.5. They should be. If you got Colorado to a bowl game 2 years after going 1-11, it's an incredible coaching job. Problem is, you're doing it by saying, I don't talk to CBS reporters and getting all salty, and you're trying to do the Nick Saban thing. Well, Nick Saban didn't do that until he got championship rings. Okay?
Was Nick Saban doing that when he was head coach at Toledo?
I don't think he was. Now, maybe he was, but I don't know. It's
Another obscure spot was Nick Saban, and I think Toledo was the
It was at
worst.
Toledo, and then it was at Michigan State, and then it was at LSU.
Okay. So Toledo for 1 year, man. The Toledo Rockets probably have Nick Saban's year, like up on a, somewhere. It's like, yeah, remember that guy Nick Saban? Yeah, he coached here 1 year. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like they gotta totally, like we've talked about the players claiming players. Like, do you think Toledo still claims Nick Saban?
100%.
Like, oh yeah, we made Nick
So
Saban.
does Kent State, by the way, because they think he played at Kent
That's
State.
true, right?
But here's the other thing. Beyond the numbers of it, right? Beyond the is Colorado going to be in the mix in the Big 12? Because they were clearly, by the time they took the field against Oregon, it was like, all right, you're not going to be in the mix in this conference. And everybody kind of saw, like, all right, it's a cute win against Nebraska, and you beat TCU, who was depleted after a national title run, but you're not going to compete in the Big Boy Conference. And so if they are not competitive in the Big 12, also, by the way, after throwing a fit about kickoff times and other things in the conference, yeah, good luck. We'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong. And if I am, I'll be the first one to be like, yep, I was wrong.
Gosh, you remember how bad TCU was in that game? Like in hindsight, not
really
to say
bad.
that Colorado didn't win it. TCU was so bad in that game, and just again looking back on, I don't expect it to go quite this way, but like you look, oh yeah, they beat TCU, beat Nebraska. Oh wait, beat a pretty bad Colorado State team double overtime.
God, coach can go for 2.
42-6 to Oregon the next week. Just 42-6. Probably could have been worse.
I've said this before, and I have been so lucky. Like, seriously, just blind luck. I've been so lucky that I've been able to go to a lot of really good football games at Autzen Stadium. Incredibly lucky to have that. Maybe the funnest day I've ever had.
Makes sense.
Maybe the funnest day I've ever had. All right, let's get one more in here.
up next on Make or Miss, Hassan Reddick knows this isn't the NBA, right?
I don't think he does. I don't think he knows. I think he forgot which league he plays for. Or
Did he like call up like I'm trying to think who's the biggest name in the New York marketplace? Call up like McCall Bridges or Jalen Brunson and go, hey, so how do you demand a trade, boys?
Also, by the way, smartest thing the Jets have ever done
was say
no.
Yeah,
you're not going to be traded.
I mean, why would you?
I think some teams may be like, all right, well, if he doesn't want to be here, let's get rid of him. But that guy's too good. He's like, nope, you're going to play defensive end. You're going to get to the quarterback. You're going to get some sacks. Now, because nothing I love more than looking at schedules. I don't know why. I just love it. I'm having so much fun these last couple of weeks because all we're going to be doing is just looking at schedules, and I love it. So, real quick, how good are the Jets going to be this year? If
Aaron Rodgers is healthy, I think that team can at least be 9-10 wins, make the wild card.
Yeah. I think they start the season Monday Night Football against the 49ers in San Francisco.
Monday Night Football again?
I think so.
Okay, so Aaron Rodgers just has to not run out with the American flag this time, Justin. Maybe that American flag way too much.
Monday Night Football, Week 1, Aaron Rodgers at San Francisco. Also, Aaron Rodgers' homecoming, right? Because he's from Bay Area.
And also Robert Saleh homecoming. Coming back to, and not to mention everybody, because basically Robert Saleh took all the best assistants from that 49ers Super Bowl team in 2019 to build the Jet staff. So this is like 49ers East coaching staff too.
So after that game, we're going to play some schedules real quick. Jets at Tennessee, probably a win, right? Tennessee's going to be
not so great.
Patriots, win. Broncos, it's going to be tough because I think Broncos are going to be playing Bo Nix. Vikings.
Oh, J.J. McCarthy's so good. Overreaction time.
Are you
I'm all in on J.J. now. I turned it around, man. I was out.
The guy that couldn't throw a forward pass against Penn State. That guy. Now,
Drake May still looks terrible, so that take is holding up. But, man, J.J., man.
But the Jets
was exciting.
Are better than the Titans. They're better than the Patriots. They're better than the Broncos. They're probably better than the Vikings.
Yeah, probably. Bills?
They might be 5-1 by the time they play the Bills. That's going to be a big game.
Yes, it will be. But no,
they might be 5-1 by the time they play Buffalo. But then they go to Pittsburgh.
Did you say
that's a loss.
Did you say they were going to lose to Bo and the Broncos or lose to
No, they're
going
to lose to the 49ers.
Okay, got you. Yeah, that's what I thought too.
It'd be awesome if Bo Nix beat them. I don't know if they're going to in New York. They also 2 games on the road, then they're at home for like a month.
They do play your Pittsburgh Steelers in that.
So I'm saying that's a loss. Sorry. Come to Acrisure. Take a L, baby.
But no, I'm excited to see what happens with Bo. We talked a little bit about Bo yesterday. I mean, obviously, Justin, of the
saw some highlights at the sports bar. Fun.
Yeah, I know you were obviously off partying your face off in Vegas.
Partying my face off.
But we kind of dove into each of the rookie quarterbacks, and everybody kind of had a moment, right? Michael Penix had a moment. Bo Nix had a moment. Caleb Williams looked really good. Drake May had no moments though.
I am done doubting Michael Penix ever in my life.
This is true, right?
He has he might not play for 3 years. I don't know.
He might not.
He might play in 2 months. Who knows? I'm not doubting that guy anymore.
I think he's on the Mahomes plan where they're gonna have him chill for a year and be like, "Hey, Kirk, hey, like Alex Smith, you're done."
I don't know if he's gonna be good in the NFL, but I'm not doubting it. I'm not doubting it until I see it because I'm done doubting that guy forever. So of the rookie quarterbacks, you're going J.J. McCarthy.
He was the most impressive after week 1. I still think Caleb Williams is the best.
He actually has people to throw to, which rookie quarterbacks very rarely do. But he's got Odunze, and he has got DJ Moore, and he's got Keenan Allen. Like
so much talent.
He's got guys to throw to. Like usually,
but Bo is impressive too. There's a lot of guys to like.
But the Bears suck last year.
Pretty much everybody but Drake May is to like so far. Poor Drake May, man. Maybe he'll turn it around too and make me have egg on my face.
We'll see. Who knows? All right. So there we go. There's Make or Miss. Coming up, it is Tuesday. It is a little cloudy, a little gloomy. I am still very tired from the weekend, which makes me a little bit grumpy. And you will all get off my lawn. Coming up next, 620 Rip City Radio. All right, let's wrap up hour number 2. It is a Tuesday. And as we all know, Tuesday is the grumpiest day of the week. I am also incredibly tired from my extended weekend in Las Vegas, so I'm a little grumpy as well. Still happy to be here, happy to be on the show, happy to be talking football and talk some hoops with Pounce coming up in about 15 minutes. But I'm still a little jet lagged. Maybe it's more than just jet lag. Maybe it was the behavior and the decisions that I made while I was there in Sin City. But doesn't mean I don't have some grumpy old man takes. I have probably talked about this one before, but I shall do it again, and I shall probably do it next year, the next time I go to Las Vegas, because it is the thing about that city that drives me the most crazy. So let's get off my lawn. All right, let me first start by saying I know why they do it. And if you want to tweet at me and be like, oh, Justin, you big dumb doofus, this is why they do it. Like, I know why they do it. Doesn't mean I have to like it. The coffee situation in Vegas is the most ridiculous situation of anything. It makes me the most crazy. Now, I also live my life up earlier than most people, and I have a need and some may call it an addiction. Where I need a good cup of coffee, if not two, before I get right. I've talked about this a ton. Like, people say, how do you get up and do the show as early as you do? I need my coffee, and then I'm good. But if I don't get my coffee, boy, I'm not good. Now, I had a plan. Brenden, I had a plan this year. The plan was that I was going to go, and we were supposed to have enough time when we got into Vegas that I was going to go across the street from Mandalay Bay, and there's an AM PM across the street, and I was going to buy about 2 or 3 of the cold coffees and just some caffeine in a can, have it in the room, because as you know, most every hotel on the Strip, you do not have. Well, you have a coffee maker in your room. If you want to spend $13 on that coffee, or you have to get up, put your clothes on, shake off the cobwebs, go down into the casino, through the web maze of all of that, just to be able to find mediocre at best cup of coffee. Drives me absolutely up a wall. Like I said, I know why they do it. It doesn't mean I have to like it, because you could go to a hotel in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, to Poughkeepsie, New York, to Denton, Texas, and every budget motel up and down Route 66. And you know what they all have in the room? At least one cup of coffee. At least one cup of coffee in every. But the fanciest, nicest, most palatial Las Vegas hotels. I got to go down 29 floors. Stand in line with the other people that are all grumpy that day. And also, the people that work the coffee shops and the casinos, they know you've got no other options. So you know what they really don't do? Hustle. They know you're not going anywhere. They know they've got you hooked. What are you going to do? Complain? Guess what? Where else are you going to go? Because this is it. So, needless to say, I was not the most pleasant person for the 2 mornings that I was out and about in Las Vegas from over the weekend. I had a plan. I'm just going to go to the store. And also, then they know they've got you, too, because you got the little mini marts there that are in the casino. And they know that once you're there, you're not going to be paying attention to prices, but I am. And it's like, I could buy a nitro cold brew in a can. Yeah, that's $14 there, dude. It's like, or I could suck it up and I could stand in the line at the Starbucks. So you figure, all right, technology's been working for me this weekend. Got into the room with my phone as a room key. I'm going to mobile order it. And I am going to hack this. Guess what? You know what? Who else thought to mobile order their Starbucks, Brenden? Everybody in the casino. And secondary grumpiness. Now, Brenden, if you were to walk into a Starbucks now and maybe with a mobile order plugged in and to see that there are at least a dozen people hovering around said mobile order pickup place, you would probably think to yourself, oh, they're probably backed up. They're probably dealing with an awful lot of people trying to get their coffee, hence the amount of people that are waiting. What is it about the entitlement of people, especially in that city of Las Vegas, that feel like they need to go up and ask, I put in this order. It's like, yeah, we all did, dude. We all put in that order. Yours is in line. It shall come out when it comes out. And you realize every time you ask the barista behind the counter where your mobile order is, it stops them from making the other orders. You realize you are holding up the entire line. But no, every single time, 12 people waiting, somebody comes up. Excuse me. I put in an order, 12 minutes. Yeah, we all did. We're all dying here the same death. We all just want a big old hit of caffeine so that we can go on about our day and deal with the 105-degree temperature and whatever fun activities we have. Did you think they were going to be like, oh, Kathy, we've got your order. I just made up that name. We've got your order behind the counter here. We were just waiting for you to show up. Thanks and no, we're all waiting. So, to the casinos, because they know what they're doing, even though it doesn't work with me because I don't go down to the casino floor and play slots while I'm waiting for my coffee. I sit there and I stare daggers at people's faces. You could put a coffee maker in the room. You really could do it. So to you, you can all get off my lawn, but mostly to also the other people who walk into Starbucks, coffee shop, whatever, realizing that there is, I don't know, everybody else in the hotel that is trying to get their coffee at the same exact time and all patiently waiting, not having a good time, but all patiently waiting to have you cut in line. Then also, what do I got, 30 seconds? To the other guy who came up to the barista, bypassed the entire line to ask about why on the mobile app it won't let me order certain type of coffee. Like, do you think she works in IT, bro? It's the app. Find something that works. It's all the same. It's coffee, it's sugar, it's milk. It's all the same. And so you held up the line for everybody as well. And just like every new person that comes up, feel like they're the ones that are special. So to all of you, you always get right off my lawn. Vegas is a very fun city, and I had a very fun time. The coffee situation has me triggered. Has me triggered. Maybe it's because I'm a fiend and I need my hit of caffeine before I can be normal in the world, but it has got me triggered. So
I feel for you, Justin, but if it was that long of a wait, I might have just opted to go grab a caffeinated beverage out of the cooler.
But you have to pay for it when you go in the app. So I've already paid for it.
Oh, okay.
It's already paid for.
You were SOL.
I was. So I would have been paying double. I was SOL. Exactly right. So you have to just sit in it. You got to sit in it. It's the worst. All right. That was the worst. You know what's the best? Our good friend, Devon Pouncey. He's going to be joining the show next, 620 Rip City Radio.
8 a.m. here on a Tuesday morning. Brenden Slaughter with you. Georgia, Ohio State, and Oregon all top the AP poll that was released yesterday. The Oregon Ducks getting one first-place vote. And over in the NFL, Jets edge rusher Hassan Reddick has demanded a trade, but the Jets say they do not plan to trade their Pro Bowler and expect him to report to training camp. And in Olympic news, the Court of Arbitration won't reconsider the Jordan Childs bronze medal dispute due to rules that do not allow the situation to be reviewed. Coming up, we've got friend of the program, Devon Pouncey, in studio for the entire third hour.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 3 of Rip City Mornings. Very excited. Back in his usual Tuesday spot, live in studio. He is the host of the Wake Up and Win podcast. He is the basketball analyst for your Rip City Remix. And as we have said, he is a friend of the program.
That's right.
Devon Pouncey back on the big show. How we doing, man?
Feeling like a gold medal winner, man. That's feel like I just won a gold medal, man. It's gloomy outside. Although I love the summer, but gloomy just kind of means sports are on the way again.
It's true.
You know how it gets in the summer, especially in this business. Sports kind of slow down, and you got to make magic happen during the summer. But now you'll be flooded with news and sports and information, and you'll have endless things to talk about.
I mean, I think the listening audience is going to be very excited about that.
Yeah.
There's going to be less like stories about, my trips and me complaining about food and actually talking
and coffee and stuff like that.
Dude, what's the...
I was listening on the way here.
I know
man.
you were.
I tuned in the car on the ride in just to get prepared as much as I can.
I've mentioned this multiple times, but if people are new and they're wondering, like, how did you and Pounce? Well, we were paired together on a radio show. Lasted 6 months, and a friendship that has lasted years longer.
That's right.
Which I am thankful for. It was unfortunate the show didn't last, but we had a show. It wasn't morning radio, but it wasn't afternoon radio.
Yeah.
For
mid mornings or something like that. Would you call it?
And I would assume for
it was morning for me.
In your 20s, you were right out of college. And Brenden knows this too, because Brenden started morning radio in his 20s as well. It was early enough.
It was early enough. 9 a.m. start. That was early enough.
And you were not really a coffee drinker.
No.
And then you every once in a while though you would show up with your Starbucks milkshake.
Yes.
That I enjoyed.
White mocha frat, baby.
Maybe I should have Justin get me that on Fridays.
You want the pound special, the white mocha frappuccino?
White mocha frat. White mocha
you know me. I'm always willing to zag.
And me. Both of you do have very similar. The coffee palate is very similar, as opposed to me is like
I love it.
Inject it into my veins. I just need I need a hit of it before I can even shake the cobwebs off. But yeah, I just spent 15 minutes complaining about it. I don't need to do it anymore. But just put a coffee machine in the room, man.
You don't have one here?
No. In Vegas, in the hotel.
Yeah, in the hotel room. You need a coffee.
Just give me one.
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid.
It's just one. But no, they're like, no, get your butt down to the casino. Maybe play some slots. I was like, well, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah, they play mind games out there in Vegas. They play mind games. Anything to get you to the slots, they are going to try to make it happen.
It's true.
And play mind games.
Even by around 50 ATMs? Yes, sir.
Yeah,
that's right.
One of these ATMs. The first 10 credits are free. Try that. It's like,
come on in.
Definitely going to stick around for that.
But you didn't gamble at all, Justin, this weekend?
I did some sports betting.
Okay.
Team USA did not cover.
I'd like to hear a little gambling going down to Vegas.
Team USA did not cover 16.5, so that was a bit of a bummer. But, Pounce, you'll like this. I was there. I was at Caesars Sportsbook.
Yeah.
For the gold medal game. It was awesome.
I bet.
It was so much fun, and I talked to Brenden about this a little bit this morning because Team USA isn't like the Blazers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, we're all rooting for Team USA. Some people are, there were some negative Nancy's on Twitter with the Serbia game last week. But most of us are rooting for Team USA. But it was fun because I was there at the sports book, and it was when Steph hit that step back.
Yeah, over
double teamed.
Ooh-wee.
The night three. And again,
that place.
I was having a good time.
For sure.
I was high-fiving strangers. Like USA chant start. It was.
Yeah.
It was fun to to watch and to kind of experience, because usually, you know, if you go to a local sports bar and your team's playing, it's always kind of fun.
Right.
But to be there where it was like, yeah, I don't like LeBron during basketball, but you know what? I like him on Team USA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everybody was a fan. There was no rivals. Everybody was
So
pulling
fun.
for USA there. That's a different vibe for
So
sure.
it was fun. We're gonna dive into some legacy stuff I want to talk about coming up in the next segment, because I love Team USA and I love that they won the gold medal. I think we're getting a little fast and loose with some legacy talk as opposed to what a gold medal brings you in terms of your legacy. So I want to dive into that.
Okay.
But we got to start with this. First person I thought of when I saw this was you. Tyreek Hill's still mad at Noah Lyles about the world champions of what? To where he has now called him out and said, I'd beat him in a race.
Oh.
And he wants to race.
I'm with that race.
So I put some options out there. I believe, with knowing nothing, but I believe in cleats on grass, nobody's faster than Tyreek Hill.
I tend to agree with that. Cheetah.
I also believe in track spikes on a track. Noah Lyles is the fastest man on the planet right now.
That burst in that back end of that 100 meter, I agree.
Where do you think what would be a fair race? Because I think in cleats on grass, that's not a fair race.
Yeah.
Noah Lyles doesn't wear cleats. He doesn't run on grass. On a track, that's not at 100 meters. So I was saying 100 yards on a track. Who you got?
Like I said, that Noah Lyles burst in that 100 meter was impressive. It was very impressive. I obviously wouldn't call him Usain Bolt, but that looked pretty Usain Bolt-like. Now, granted, again, Usain Bolt, completely different stride. Like, it's levels to this. And Noah Lyles is not there yet. He's got a ways to go to get there. But that burst that I saw was very Usain Bolt-like. But I think you still got to run the race on the track. I think
you got to go on track.
That's where you race.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's Noah Lyles' sport. If Tyreek Hill wants to challenge Noah Lyles to a race and challenge him in his sport, well, go meet him on his turf and do that. Noah Lyles shouldn't have to put on cleats and go on the football field and race 100 yards to try to prove that he's faster than Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, you call him out, go meet him on the track then.
Brenden, what was the Usain Bolt 40 time that you found? Where like did they measure it inside the 100 meters? It was like he was like 4.22.
Yeah, Usain he's different. I heard he might be coming back.
So he ran. It was a NFL experience event, and Bolt ran the 40 a 4.22. So Tyreek Hill was 4.28. So again, with pads, all those things, but yeah, I mean, I told Justin earlier, Pounce, I'm like, wouldn't have anyone like to see just Usain Bolt just get out there for a fly pattern, man? Just go deep.
Yeah,
see if he can run past everybody else.
That would be wild.
But I don't know if it's ever going to happen. It probably won't because the money probably wouldn't work out. And I'm sure the Dolphins will probably be like, hey, Tyreek, we love you, but you're not racing anybody. Yeah. We need you to catch some touchdowns and don't worry about it. And Noah Lyles you can't lose to a football player if you won the 100 meters. So I doubt the race would ever happen, but I want to see it.
I think what Tyreek should do is start to train and prepare to try to be on the USA team in the 2028 Olympics. Probably won't happen.
Won't.
But if I'm him, that's the goal I'm shooting for, especially if I think I can beat Noah Lyles in the race, okay? Like that's what you're saying, is that you belong to be on Team USA's track and field squad if you think you can beat Noah Lyles in the race. I don't think it happens, but if it does, put him out there in LA.
if not else too, if it's not that, there's one thing we mentioned yesterday. I'm curious to get your guys' takes on who's going to be on the flag football team. That's going to be a sport in LA in 2028, man. All
right, well, no NFL player is going to be on it. Because if I am any one of the 32 owners in the NFL,
having it.
None of you are going to go out and pop an ACL playing in a flag football
For
game
sure.
in the Olympic. So that's out. So
you'd be
put like the All-America team out there, like the best college players.
So you don't think it'll be like this? You don't think it'd be like the MLB, where at the MLB it's like, hey, we might adjust our All-Star break because baseball will be back in the 2028 Olympics when it wasn't this year. Same with softball. Baseball, obviously, you're pulling from the major leagues right in the middle of their season.
For-
Football, to your point, it's before training camp starts.
It's right before training camp, and
Yeah.
you just need one.
But the NFL pushed
like,
for it.
I don't know what other countries are going to be involved. Like it's
It's
We'll
American
dominate,
football. That's
Justin.
my whole thing. Is like with it being American football, I don't think the sport is advanced enough where we should have to put the best NFL players out there on a flag football field. We
Should be easy
able
to
get
dominate,
some college
then.
guys. We should dominate the sport. It's not rugby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Their
Because
bag
that's
is
what's-
rugby. Our bag is American football. It's
Yes,
a little
sir.
bit different.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you're an owner, and let's Tyreek Hill or Justin Jefferson or any of those guys, like I'm not letting you get tackled by some Australian guy who's trying to make a point in a flag football game in the Olympics, and then you pop an ACL.
Yeah.
But you
never
don't tackle, Justin. You pull the flags.
Yeah, but they pull the flag and they miss and they trip and it's just one wrong step. It's like, no. I pay you far too much.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah, I would
not
do it.
happening.
So you
I'm
think
not
it could be
rolling.
the best college players that chase that?
I think so.
That'd be fun. Like, I'm just seeing football in the Olympics, I'm super excited about it.
And listen, we're going to talk about Team USA in a moment, and I think Team USA having NBA players is great, and it's been, I think, the best overall for the global reach of the game. If you were to give all of the owners truth serum, and just be like, do you really want your $58 million a year guy out there playing? I think they would say no.
Yeah.
I think most of them would say no.
That's fair.
But the precedent has already been set.
Right.
There ain't no football players going out
Yeah,
there.
it's not happening.
Imagine Patrick Mahomes type
Yeah.
sprinting around. Some German guy tries to dive to get his flag and
exactly.
rolls his
That's
ankle, and
what I'm
now
saying.
Patrick Mahomes is hobbling into training.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe by then
It's not happening.
Maybe by then Patrick Mahomes has 8 rings and just wants a gold medal to add to his legacy. I mean,
That would be fire.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Or maybe he'd have one less ring than Tom Brady and can't get that last ring, but wants to be the GOAT and says, "Well, I can up Tom Brady here the way that LeBron kind of upped Michael Jordan by getting one more gold medal than Tom Brady, as LeBron now has one more gold medal than Michael Jordan." Ooh-wee.
That's why we brought this up, because
Ooh-wee.
coming up on the other side, what is the basketball legacy value
That's right.
of a gold medal? Did LeBron, KD, Steph add to their legacy when we go back and look at their career? Are we going to bring up what we saw on Saturday in Paris? So a lot of that. And hot take from the show yesterday, might we see a sequel? Because the Olympic Games going to be in LA, and it's much, much easier to participate in. We'll talk about all that and a whole lot more next here on 620 Rip City Radio. All right, Devon Pouncey joining us here in studio. Start with victory lap for you.
Yes.
Because as we say on this program, winners get sprinkles, right? You get ice cream after the game, but you know what? You win, you get sprinkles.
I'm here for
So
that.
here are your sprinkles. As not only did you call Team USA, but even before the Serbia game, which by the way got a little bit dicey there for a bit.
Scary hours for sure.
You had said Steph Curry is going to be just fine.
Yeah.
You said, Steph, don't work. And boy, did he show up when Team USA needed him the most.
Right.
We thought that this was kind of going to be the Steph Curry Olympics, right? Even though LeBron James is on the team and LeBron James is a force and everything else. LeBron had been to a couple of Olympics.
Right.
He'd won a gold medal. And
he's 39 years old.
And he's also 39 years old.
Right.
And it felt like he was almost like an ambassador. It's like, hey, we got to have LeBron.
Diana Taurasi of sorts.
Yes. And that Steph, in this being his first ever Olympics, probably was going to be the best player. Turns out, KD was the best player.
Yeah.
On the entire Olympics. But in the biggest stage, which was both the semifinals and then ultimately the gold medal game, maybe, and you've said this before too, that Steph Curry might be one of the best red light players ever. By red light, I mean the camera is on.
Yes.
When the camera is on, when it is spotlight time, he is one of the best to ever play the game of basketball. And now he adds Olympic gold medal game because for everything that KD did well, that shot of Steph Curry going night-night, that's iconic.
Iconic.
It's something that shall be so let's start with that unbelievable Steph Curry moment.
Yeah.
Heat checking with a minute to go in a fairly close gold medal game.
For sure.
Loved it.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I love Steph Curry's game so much. And, when you kind of talk about the legacy talk, I feel like he gets minimized oftentimes because he's such a great shooter that people just minimize him to the greatest shooter of all time. But sometimes when you have a superpower like Steph Curry's ability to shoot the basketball, that transcends your overall game. And at the end of the day, it just makes you the best. And he is a guy that in positionless basketball or even the point guard position, I don't care how you slice it, traditional days or, again, the way the game is played now where it's more positionless, Steph Curry is just the best.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to put an asterisk on it. We don't need to, he just can shoot the ball. He's just a great shooter because obviously there's other elements that tie into his game that even allows him at his size to be able to get that shot off as often as he does and also make that shot, which in most cases, especially that last shot that he took that gave him the night-night moment, very inefficient basketball shot. Don't matter how big, small, little, or tall you are. That is an efficient basketball shot. But some way, somehow, he gets it off, and he makes shots like that time and time and time again. It just makes him better than just about everybody.
Because I think it was a 6-point game.
Yeah.
At that point, it was a 6-point game. He was being double-teamed. On the other side was a wide-open Kevin Durant and a wide-open LeBron James.
Yes.
Two of the greatest basketball players of all time, wide open, unguarded, and he's like, nope, this is my heat check.
But
like you said, inefficient, but that's superpower.
That's
special players just being special.
It is what it is. And like I said, we've got to not minimize him to just being the greatest shooter of all time because the way he gets the job done is by shooting the basketball better than everybody else. It's a part of what the game is, and it just happens to be a superpower for him that, again, sometimes you can have a skill set that transcends the overall game, and he's just that guy. That's his ability, again, to not only shoot the ball, but to be able to even get that shot off and make it on a very consistent basis, especially in those red light moments like that one. I mean, you got to give it to him, man. He's nearing Mount Rushmore in the sport of basketball. Nearing. I'm not putting him in there yet, but he's inching closer to that, and I think that was a huge step taken, with the performance that he had in both the semifinal and the final games of the Olympic Games this year.
All right, so let's talk about what we mentioned right before the break, which is, okay, what does a gold medal or sometimes multiple gold medals add to basketball legacy? Because obviously the Jordan versus LeBron debate is never going to end until all of us are old and gray and are just tired of screaming about it. And then the Wemby people are going to be on the way up. Or there's some kid in high school right now that we don't even know
Yeah.
who's like in 30 years will be like, nope, it was that game. Might be Cooper Flagg. I don't know.
Who knows?
Brenden loves Cooper Flagg.
Hey, now.
But
You say that like it's a swear word, Justin.
I know. I just like I like giving you guff over the Cooper
That being
Flagg.
said, the odds of getting a number 1 pick, we know how it is.
That's true. So that's never gonna. I'm a Jordan guy. 6 rings. That's all I say.
Yeah.
6 rings. So then
6-0.
comes the LeBron folks are like, well, now you add multiple gold medals and scoring champion and all of that stuff. Where is, because I think the Olympics are great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun tournament in the middle of summer. I'm not sure at the end of the day we're going to be looking back and talking about gold medal. It might be like the 3rd or 4th thing we get into. Steph had his gold medal moment. It was great for Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know when we go and have Steph Curry's Hall of Fame induction highlight reel if that shot's going to be on it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think let's start with Jordan then. Let's start with Jordan and his legacy. Yes, the 6 rings matter. Never losing in the NBA Finals like that, that's a huge part of his legacy. But we also talk about Jordan's legacy in the sense of globalizing the game by way of the Dream Team. And so he almost set a precedent, if you will, when it comes to the importance of the Olympic Games and what it is that, you know, that team was able to do, the Dream Team was able to do in terms of just having a global impact like the sport of basketball had never seen before. And we are still able to enjoy the fruits of that labor, if you will. So I don't think you can acknowledge that aspect of Jordan's legacy and not acknowledge the aspect of LeBron now having 3 medals, winning the MVP for this 3rd medal at 39 years old. Because one thing we also talk about.
By the way,
often,
did you know they gave MVP to the Olympics?
I did.
I did not know they did that. Brenden, did you know they did that? I think we've lost Brenden.
Yeah, but either way, I don't remember who won the last one, so that's fair.
Exactly.
I don't remember. Maybe KD, or I would assume KD because he was the best player in America and he's the all-time leading scorer.
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
would bet that it was KD, but I couldn't sit here and tell you who won the last MVP or who was all tournament for the 2020 or 21 Olympics. Of course, we had the COVID ordeal. But again, I think you have to acknowledge that LeBron James at 39 years old was able to do what it was that he was able to do, especially when you think about the lingering impact from what the Dream Team started globalizing the game to how competitive the Olympic Games are now because of that impact and that influence from 30 years ago. And LeBron at 39 years old was the best player on Team USA. And again, when we talk about that Dream Team, part of Jordan's spike was also acknowledging the decline of a Magic Johnson, of a Larry Bird because of their ages. So you got to give LeBron some credit for being what he's able to be out there for Team USA at his big age of 39 years old. And so I think that's where you can kind of speak to the legacies of both guys in regards to playing for Team USA. LeBron being able to do what he's doing at his age is just incredible. And he just continues to just rack up the accolades. And Jordan's impact and his influence growing the game to what it is now, that matters when you talk about Jordan's legacy.
Well, and it's why these are fun and obviously in good spirits to have these debates, but why you shouldn't take them too seriously because you can't compare the two. You can't in terms of Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Let's just talk about the Olympics right now. Jordan won as a college guy in '84. That was an Olympics that was boycotted by Russia. Russia was probably the best basketball country because they played with pros.
Right.
And they also had all those really good countries that are now like Serbia. Like they all played for Russia.
For Russia, right.
But Russia didn't go. And so Jordan won it in '84. And then by '92, their job was not to compete to win the gold. Their job was to put on a show.
Yeah.
They were it was almost an exhibition. It was like if you went to go see the Dream Team, you were not ever going to go in 1992 to think, boy, I really hope they beat Yugoslavia. And it's like, no, they're going to.
Right.
This is a done deal. This is about putting on a show, being an ambassador, as opposed to where we are now. The rest of the world caught up.
Right.
And now it's about winning the games.
For sure.
So that's where like the two, you almost can't compare the two in terms of basketball legacy because Jordan's job was not to win the games. The games were predetermined.
Yeah.
Their job was to go and put on a show.
For sure, but I think that you can make a comparison in that regard, again, not based on what they did for Team USA more so, but I think based on who it is that they had to compete against.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan and them could afford to put on a show because there weren't as many good teams and as many good players worldwide in the game of basketball playing at the level that they do right now. So he could afford to do that.
Yeah.
LeBron and, again, this Team USA team, they had to battle. And they had to battle in the showcase exhibition games to just find a little bit of chemistry to barely get over the hump and ultimately win the gold medal. Now, they went undefeated. Kudos to that. But they had some pretty, tightly contested games, especially, later on in the tournament when you talk about the semifinals and the finals versus Serbia and France. So I do think you can acknowledge that the competition was a lot better that LeBron had to play against than Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah,
and that's a fair
saying.
comparison to make, but I'm making that in favor of LeBron. I'm sure you don't particularly like that. You're a big Jordan guy.
No, it's true. But no, you're right in the fact that the accomplishment is better.
Yeah.
Winning this gold medal, that accomplishment is better. And we all know that because in 2004, America lost, and we're like, we could lose?
Right.
That's not supposed to happen. So, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. The comparison of the two in terms of a legacy thing,
I think
you
can
almost
compare.
can't really compare them. It's almost two separate entities, which is why, again, comparing eras, you always end up just like, this guy. And look, LeBron James and the fact that he is the age that he is pretty amazing. Now,
I just don't want the debate to end.
You think it's ever going to?
Nope.
Look, Stephen A's still on TV.
Yeah.
That's never going to end. Now, yesterday, because I was traveling.
Yeah.
Brenden had the show, and Brenden, you talked to Keith Smith, who is our one of our great basketball guests. Keith Smith says he could envision a place where, at the age of 43, which is just a year older than a year younger than I am now, that LeBron James might be playing in LA.
Yeah, no,
And KD and Steph.
I kind of threw it out just kind of like half-heartedly, like, oh, Keith, there's no way we see LeBron or KD or Steph. And, he kind of broke them down individually and it's like, Steph we'll see, KD we'll see, but he's like, he said it really easy. He's like, if I'm LeBron James, why would I retire when I can still do the things on the basketball court I can do? And, then you add in the fact that it's LA. He's probably likely to still be playing for the Lakers. I'm no expert, Justin, but that's a big legacy thing.
It'd be a huge legacy thing.
And that's something he really cares about. So, I don't know, maybe he plays in 45 games a year for the next 4 years.
Yeah, he might. I mean, LA does kind of change the game, right?
LA changes the game.
Because you guys know this. The only detriment to playing for Team USA in an Olympic year, it really screws up your summer vacation.
Hard to get to Tokyo.
For sure.
It really screws up your summer vacation. And these guys, as I would too, if I was that rich and that famous and that much time off, I'd be like St. Bart's. But you factor in now LA, and you can play in front of the home crowd, and it's a different. If they were going to Rio this time, none of those guys are going to go.
For sure.
But LA.
I'm curious what y'all think from an optics standpoint. What would it look like if LeBron James retired from the NBA prior to the 2028 Olympics, but still tried out and played for the 2028 Team USA?
There is precedent.
I mean, Magic Johnson did that.
It
would be a very LeBron thing to do.
It would be. It would be.
Most
people be cool with it.
Wouldn't most people be like,
LeBron.
hey, I've won my gold medals. I've had my moments.
Here you go, young bucks.
Yeah.
Team is now yours. But if there ever was a player to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
It would be LeBron.
And interestingly enough,
there's ever to be a guy who's just like, no, I'm Captain USA now.
Yeah.
I'm just solely focused on winning the gold medal.
That's it.
Does he also make him put Bronny on the team?
No, absolutely not.
Justin, you had to go there.
Absolutely.
He's
done his job for Bronny.
He made the Lakers.
He's done his job for Bronny. Bronny's good.
Too soon?
Do you think, Justin and Devon, if another thing that Keith mentioned that I thought was kind of eye-opening is that it's not a guarantee that Steve Kerr is going to be the coach in 2028. And he mentioned there's been some buzz and some people like, hey, it's time for Spoelstra to be the guy in the lead chair.
Yeah.
Is that enough to convince LeBron to play, considering Spoelstra and he
Spoelstra's
got a
his
good
guy,
relationship?
If not Spoelstra, then JJ Redick start a podcast, reboot the podcast.
What, you think he's already going to have a couple Laker championships by then?
If he does, that's enough.
I don't know if he's going to have any championships, but he's going to have a really high podcast numbers.
Yeah, for sure, and that might just be enough to get JJ Redick at least on the staff. Hey, Spoelstra, head coach JJ on the staff.
Yeah.
That can happen.
That
can happen.
Somehow get like Coach K out of retirement.
Yeah,
because LeBron loves Coach K.
Oh man.
All right, I did want to get to this because I don't know. I've watched that Australian breakdancer like at least 57 times.
That's funny because that was going to be my question for Ebony and Ivory today.
Well, let's do it right now
Let's
because
do it.
we might have some other stuff to dive into.
For sure, I'm with it.
What was that? What was going on there?
Okay, so for starters,
okay? I know that you DJ, you are in the music world.
yes.
As a person who knows rhythm and music, I would assume you're a fairly good dancer. I don't know if you are out on my own. Everybody circle up and watch Pounce right now dance.
I'm not, but particularly, especially not Pounce breakdance.
Yeah, but
never been a big breakdance guy.
I was just wondering if maybe out of nowhere you're just like, hey, here's the deal. You get to go to the Olympics.
Yeah,
free trip to Paris
for sure.
All you got to do, you just got to do a breakdance routine. Like that's like this Australian breakdancer clearly was like, hey. Free trip to Paris?
Yeah, I'm taking it.
I get to march in opening ceremonies?
I'm taking it.
I am an Olympian forever.
That's right.
I received 0 points. But
That's right.
But would you still take it?
I would 100% take it.
Now, I don't know if they would have taken it knowing that it was going to be
You might
the
get some
video
endorsement money.
of that. If
I
Hawk
think-
Tua girl is all over the world for like 2 weeks, Australian breakdancer is going to be into our lives. She's on the way, right? She's going to have a podcast with JJ Redick.
Exactly. Yeah. You get some endorsements. You get to go to Paris. You get to be around world-class athletes. You get to say you participated in the Olympics. Like, I'm all in for that. I'll trade in my ability to not be a good breakdancer. But again, for me, I'm not a big fan of, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm not really a big fan of breakdancing anyway. So most of the time, breakdancing looks out of rhythm to me. Most of the time.
It also feels like a lot of work for like not that much of a payoff.
Yeah. It doesn't look that cool. It doesn't look like it's just, again, this might be an unpopular opinion on my end, but that's why I said I was going to bring it up in Ebony and Ivory because it's just not like I can do without it. And that I can do without that element of hip hop.
How many times do you watch the Australian breakdancer, Brenden?
A couple.
I've watched it so many times.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with Devon. It's not my favorite thing, but it just kind of reminded me when we were talking about just all this stuff, too, and LeBron. Did you guys see that clip of LeBron yelling at the kid?
Yeah, he yelled at a kid.
I did see that.
Yeah, he's like, let me yell at a kid, but then I'll give dap to everybody in the
and
club.
start dancing and
like
walking
20 steps
in.
later.
Yeah, I did see that.
Would he do that in L.A., man, with a bunch of, kids?
Well, that kid's not getting anywhere close in L.A.
Yes,
Screen's going to be a little tighter.
That's
where
right.
Team USA
Fair.
was
That's
going.
right. Yeah, because they dealt with some problems. The families and all that. They dealt with some problems out there in France.
Really? Interesting.
Well, yeah, I think Aisha Curry had an incident out
wow.
there. Like, and I would imagine after beating France on their home court, that security was a little bit looser in regards to showing love to Team USA out there, celebrating
Makes
a
sense.
victory on our turf against our team. I can see a world where that's the case, and that's why LeBron had to bark a little bit.
It's mean in those Paris streets, I guess.
When I was growing up, other than Michael Jordan, King Griffey Jr. was my favorite player. And I have always heard that he was a little bit salty, and I was like, I never wanted to meet him.
Yeah.
when I was a kid because I was afraid he was going to be mean and I would have to hate him.
Right.
And I'm like, now just imagine that kid. You're like, dude, I was there. I was trying to get a selfie with LeBron, and he just screamed back the bleep
Yeah,
up.
man, because I think it was already.
That guy's a Wemby fan now.
Yeah, right. All for life.
Wemby for life.
Should have stuck with the home team anyway. The security did. That's why you got that close, kid.
Like, dude, let's just get a selfie. Whoa.
Well, yeah,
Like, easier.
yeah. Like I said, I think it was a little bit of tension out there for Team USA.
Yeah.
Beating France on their home floor that, we'll probably hear stories about when the documentary comes out.
It's coming, too.
It's coming, for
It'll
sure.
be on Netflix
The Avengers,
in
baby.
like 9 months.
The
All right.
Avengers. How
Coming-
about it?
All right.
Do you like it?
I don't. But
Me neither.
we need
I'll be
nicknames for
honest.
everything.
Yeah.
All right, coming up next, though, we do have a special Ebony and Ivory version of the RCM mailbag next, 620 Rip City Radio. All right, let's wrap up the big show. We do that the same way each and every day with a little Tuesday twist when Pounce is in studio. As we are friends and we have curiosities about each other's culture when it comes to certain things like the Australian breakdancer.
For sure.
It's still fascinating that even happened. Like, did we not watch the tape?
It's canceled now, right? It's not happening in LA.
I think so.
I think I saw
it was a good
article.
run.
I don't know. It might have been just a random blogger, but I feel like I saw something that said that there won't be breakdancing in 2028.
Yeah, that's not a surprise.
Yeah.
After what we saw. But that being said, the RCM mailbag, which is random questions, any subject, any topic, we throw a little Tuesday twist. It is time for Ebony and Ivory. Here we go. It's funny because I feel like a couple of times this summer, you went to Vegas for Summer League.
Yes.
I went for a concert this weekend. So we have talked about Las Vegas an awful lot. People, I think, find it interesting. I don't gamble. I'm not against gambling. I don't enjoy it. Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you have a game? Do you have any, like...
I'm the same. I don't really gamble much. Yeah. I can hang out and watch other people gamble sometimes, which I think is interesting because, like, my dad, my brother, like, they hit it hard out there. They hit the crap tables. Like, they gamble. And I've been to Vegas with them quite a few times, but for when I was younger. So, and I think what it is for me, I started going to Vegas when I was in, like, 7th grade because there's a huge AAU basketball tournament in Las Vegas every summer. So, like, throughout my AAU days, I went to Las Vegas like 5 years in a row every summer because I was playing in the big AAU tournament out there. And I think that kind of set a precedent for me to know how to do Las Vegas without gambling because I got so used to going to Las Vegas without gambling. I was going to play basketball, but I wasn't of age. So I wasn't one of those people that was like introduced to Vegas when I turned 21 and gambling had to be a part of the experience. And I think it's just kind of stuck with me.
Okay, so that answers my question because I bet on Team USA, and then I placed a couple of bets because we get NFL betting here, but you can't do college football betting on the phone.
Yeah.
So I've got Oregon to win the Big Ten.
Okay.
And I got Dylan Gabriel to win the Heisman Trophy.
Okay.
And so if that happens, it is going to be a fun trip back to collect.
For sure. For sure.
So I made some sports bets. One on Team USA, and that one didn't hit, but it's all right. We won the gold medal.
We won the gold medal, baby.
But other than that, I did not. The idea of just like sitting and like. Which is funny because I can sit at brunch for like 3 hours.
Yeah. Make sure that mimosas is bottomless. Huh?
Yeah, Brenden makes fun of me because he's like, oh, you say you just can't sit and play blackjack, but you can sit at brunch for 3.
Yeah.
They kicked us out. They were like,
time to go.
Time limit.
Wait, so you sat at brunch for 3 hours?
2 hours. It was 2 hours.
Okay,
That's still a long time.
Okay. I'm like, 3 hours would have been a
time.
little. I would have had a question. But hey, each to their own, man. You do Vegas how you want to do Vegas, man. That's the beautiful thing about it.
They put a time limit on it.
Disneyland for adults.
They put a time limit on it, and they're like, I'm sure they do it every Saturday and Sunday because they were like, all right, we're about 5. One last refill? Like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
yes,
Run
ma'am. But yeah, I never like. I tried to play blackjack. I told Brenden this last week. I got yelled at once.
Yeah.
Because I don't pay attention to the other cards.
For sure.
On the table, I'm just playing my game, and the guy's like, "Hey, idiot."
Yeah.
That was the bus card.
No,
so I got yelled at, so I quit that. I don't understand craps. I tried. I don't get it.
It didn't click for you, huh?
Don't get that, and then roulette just again.
Yeah, like I said, I like to go to Vegas to eat and party.
There we go. Boy,
like that's what I like to do in Vegas. The gambling piece, like I said, I think a precedent was set real early for me because I used to just be in Las Vegas as a kid. Like it became normal for me to be in Las Vegas. Like I said, I'm playing AAU basketball there every summer, but I couldn't gamble, so it just, like I said, I think it just kind of stuck with me from back then. But my people. They get busy at that table for sure.
Your go-to club pound still Dre's? Are you?
Yeah, Dre's is still the spot for sure.
Yeah,
I didn't go to a club per se when I went to Vegas this time, but I hit a lot of, the Delilahs, the higher end lounges and stuff like that. I'm more of a lounge guy these days.
Yeah.
But the clubbing like I used to do, back in like my 20s, essentially. Like I'm in my early 30s, but my 20s I hit Vegas pretty hard, and yeah, I've had some epic nights out there, but I would say Dre's is still the spot, still the best spot I've been to.
Would you put Vegas clubs up there with just about any clubs anywhere?
He's talking to you because he knows.
No, for sure.
Not surprised anybody. I did not go to a club this weekend.
I think
Justin, it
I
would
think
take
the
a miracle
best
for you
place
to get
that
into a club.
I think the best place that I've been clubbing was Berlin, Germany.
Really?
Woo!
Really? You could have given me 50 guesses and I would have never guessed that.
I
really?
think Berlin, I had a time in Berlin.
Wow,
like
okay.
that was
That's
the first,
cool.
and I think a huge part of that was the first time I ever legitimately clubbed till the sun came up. Where like when I came outside of the club to get my Uber back to my hotel, like the sun was up.
It is one of my favorite things. As much as I complained about the coffee earlier, one of my favorite things, even though I don't want to have to go get the coffee
For sure.
when I do, of seeing like that guy hasn't been to bed yet.
Yeah.
That guy hasn't been to bed yet. I rode in an elevator. It was 9:15 a.m.
Yeah.
A couple, don't know if they just met or if they came together or not, but fully clothed,
Yeah.
beer in hand, going to the pool, and I'm like, so you guys haven't been to bed yet? Have you? Clearly have not been to bed yet.
Yeah, Berlin was a different level, man. Like I said, I never exited the club and the sun legitimately was up. It's like 7 a.m. and it's like, what just happened? I had a ball out there. But other than that, yeah, it'll probably be Vegas that I would say is my spot for sure for clubbing.
Let's get people the info. Wake Up and Win podcast.
That's right.
They need to be subscribed to, downloaded.
For sure.
We got football season on the way. You're back?
Yeah.
Back on the mic?
Back on the mic, man. I'm excited. I've been spending some time off DJing all summer because, again, as we kind of alluded to when I first hopped on here today, it's just not much sports going on in the summer. Thank goodness for the Olympics. That helped a little bit, at least get the time to go by. But Pacific University football,
Let's go Boxers, baby.
That's right. I'm the play-by-play for Pacific University football. I'll be calling games there, so check out the home games. And then that'll roll right into basketball season where I'm doing Rip City Remix games. I'm doing college hoops, Portland State men's basketball, some Pacific men's and women's basketball. So it's about to get back heavy into the broadcast grind for me, and I'm excited. Football kind of revs things up for me, and then once basketball season comes around, that's kind of my bag. So
we're starting to roll downhill. I love it.
Yeah,
So
I mean, just look out the window. It's been sunny the last several times that I've been in here. It's looking a little gloomy out there right now.
That's going to do it for the big show. Thanks to Devon Pouncey. Thanks to super producer Brenden. Thanks to all of you. Have a terrific Tuesday. We're back at it tomorrow morning here on 620 Rip City Radio.